Matt and I's allergies have been so bad, and I got in the car to go to the grocery store, and I just want to show you what's happening outside. Look at all of the pollen in the air. Oh my gosh. They're actually leaf blowing right there. And it's actually not the point of this video, but I wanted to pose a question for you to reflect on, and it's for myself too. But what is hindering you from drawing closer to Jesus? What is the barrier between you and Jesus right now? Like, what is hindering any element of growth in your relationship with him? Matt's dad brought up comfort and how comfort is the enemy of growth. Personally speaking, comfort is a big barrier for me because it's so much easier to scroll or to, watch YouTube, sleep in instead of waking up early to pray, stuff like that. And that becomes a barrier. Another big thing is distractions. And distractions are literally everywhere. And I think that kind of falls into maybe the same category with, consuming social media and TV, YouTube, whatever. But the distractions are everywhere. And even if it's something that's neutral, it's not necessarily good or bad, it still can be drawing your attention away from being with Jesus. Like, I think about the story of Mary and Martha and how Martha was so concerned about the housekeeping element when Jesus came in. And so it wasn't like necessarily a bad thing, but her priority wasn't in the right place. So I can say for me personally, the two biggest things are wanting to be comfortable and distractions. And another big one is busyness, which I'm sure everyone can relate to, which again, I think that falls into the distraction category. But I also wanted to pose kind of some other ideas to think about, like maybe it's an intellectual barrier, because maybe you're so caught up on studying the scriptures instead of encountering God through studying the scriptures. And I'm not saying studying scriptures is bad, that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm talking about like getting so focused on the letter of the law instead of understanding the spirit behind the law. And then it turns into arguments with people, and the fruit of it is not beneficial. Or maybe there are questions that you have that just you can't find the answers to about life, about your relationship with God. And so that also becomes a barrier because you feel like he's unapproachable. Maybe another barrier is actually an emotional one because there are some unanswered prayers and you're feeling some resentment, which I'm sure we can all relate to that to some extent and at some point in our lives. So I know this list is limited and there are definitely other barriers, but yeah, I want to encourage you to not only reflect on what those barriers are, but how you can overcome them. If it's a comfort thing or an apathy, laziness thing, honestly, it just requires some self-discipline. If it's an emotional barrier, then approach God with your hard feelings, and also remind yourself of the character of who he is, that he is love and he loves you and he's in control. If it's the intellectual barrier, then remind yourself, why do you study? Why do you study the word? Why do you want to learn more? What is the profit? What is the fruit from that? It should be to love God and love others, ultimately. And the reason for these questions is, with everything going on in the world, there's so much, and, we believe Jesus is coming back very soon. So with that being said, how should we live our lives? And we should be drawing closer to Jesus. Our priority should be him. And like I said, I'm preaching to myself. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to think that we need to do more or know more or whatever it is. But he just wants our hearts. He wants us to love him. The greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. So that should be our top priority. And remember that we were created to be in relationship with God. So that's what he wants from you. It's what he wants from me. It's what he wants from all of his children, from all of us. So yeah, I want to hear in the comments or messages or whatever, what are these barriers that are trying to come or stunt your growth in your relationship with him? Or maybe there's nothing right now. And praise God for that. Last thing I want to say and clarify is that the reason why it is so important to prioritize our relationship with Jesus is because we cannot produce fruit if we do not abide in him first. Like John 15 talks about, the branch abides in the vine, and then the branch produces fruit. And so we cannot mess up the order, because if we try to produce fruit without abiding first, then that's when we start to feel burnout, because we're operating in our own strength and not through God.